my go-to was always to a whiteboard, and I'd draw out a flow.
Yeah.
A flow diagram. It wasn't supposed to be a flow diagram, but I'd be drawing how I think that the development process should work, based on some problem or mistake that had happened. And I mean, it looked like a data flow diagram.
Yeah.
So I was programming, but I was programming people, not computers. It sounds way more terrible
Powerful.
than it should. But what I was doing was I was laying out uh, what the rules of engagement between the different teams are, um, how a development team should be initiated to do work, how they should be measured for whether they've done it successfully or not. I mean, these are all logical operations at the end of the day. And I mean, I had experience doing that. I felt I had a knack for it. So I focused on the development process and got it right. And I mean, that is the foundation of any development team, is to have a way of doing things that works over and over again. And by doing that and getting that successful, I mean, the rest was really just bringing out the best in the people. And I love developers. Bringing the best out of them was something I could easily motivate myself to do. Look, every good developer I've ever met, they became a developer because they fell in love with computing. They fell in love with computing because of something in their childhood, or maybe a little later in life sometimes, that really inspired them. In a lot of cases, I got to admit, things like Star Wars or Star Trek when they were kids, or maybe it's Elon Musk and his space rockets, maybe it's Tesla. There's always something that gets them going. A lot of the time it's computer games, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, with developers that fell in love with computer games, even if they're still playing in late into their elder years. It's just what inspired them to get so passionate about this. But what's inside that is this dream that one day they might come up with their own thing, and it doesn't always have to be a space rocket that can land on its tail, or something that anyone would ever make a movie or TV show about. It can be something that they think is really, really cool, that they'd be proud of if they came up with a way of making it possible, inventing it. So in their hearts, developers are good developers, are inventors. They want to invent something, even if it's something you can't hold in your hands, it still matters. It's still something that changes lives in some way. And how awesome is it to be able to make a place where they're able to grow their skills in such a way that they feel like they're making progress towards being capable of doing that. There's nothing more motivating for me than to see, especially when we hire developers who are fresh grads out of university and they know nothing yet, and they have to learn all of these skills, to watch them grow and get to the point where they're getting closer and closer to being where it is that they felt they could be proud of themselves if they got to. And that's a big part of why I want to do what I do.
That's awesome.